So The Sims 4, should we have sperm banks and whatever fertility clinics and alternative methods of conception, and I have no idea what the technical terms for it are. I hope I got it near right. Okay, first off, why would people want this as an alternative to adoption, which is already our way of having non-traditional children in The Sims? Well, because they're tired of getting black kids with orange hair. Anyone who's used the adoption system in The Sims 3 should understand that. Black kids with orange hair. But anyway, as far as the main reason why this would not work, you can't say or reference sperm and eggs in The Sims. Even though it's a T for teen game, that's too iffy and you know it. Especially sperm, because it's problematic. Once you reference them, they become their own entity. And that's a no-no for a T for teen game. Now, one solution is to refer to it as genetic material. This is good. It's unisex, and you avoid getting into any of the gross particulars that, the actual language would require, because, I don't want to open my Sims game and have sperm sitting at the hospital office. I don't want those words in my Sims game, even though it's T for teen or whatever. How this would work: you donate genetic material at the doctor's office, and you make the baby from said genetic material. Male Sims could donate maybe, and it takes them an hour, and they get $50 from it, because it's pretty easy for guys to do. Female Sims could receive $1,000 for, or however much they receive in real life, I don't know, for several more hours, because it's a much tougher process for women to donate their genetic material. Let's say you have a single woman who wants to get pregnant. She goes to the doctor's office, picks through some donors, pays a reasonable fee, and becomes pregnant. Easy enough, right? What about a man? A single man wants a child. He goes to the hospital, and what's there? Is there some Sims magical cartoony machine that stores and holds your baby for the cycle of a pregnancy and plops it out when it's ready? That would be cartoonish and charming. The Sims could maybe pull that off in another universe, but it would be too discomforting. People would say it was unnatural, and rightly so, because it does not occur naturally in nature. Is there a surrogate mother who lives in the hospital forever and delivers your baby and never comes out of the hospital? Ever. That's just a job you can have. Professional surrogate mother, and it involves never leaving the hospital or being seen. You are just a vessel used to hold babies. I saw that on an episode of The Blacklist not too long ago. It was scary. Those would be pretty unsatisfying options on how to give a man a child, but I think that the people who would want this in the game, they have in their minds, they want to be able to be friends with the surrogate mother of their child. They want to talk to her, have her over for coffee, make sure she's getting her books or stuff, and all sorts of things. They want her to be a part of their life. They don't want her to be tucked away in the hospital, essentially not existing, and the hospital just be a chamber that gives a guy a baby after a few days, because that's how long a Sim's pregnancy is. But if you were able to interact with your surrogate mother, that would open up a lot of new gameplay mechanics. Think about it. You could ask your friend to carry your child, just like ask to move in, ask to marry, ask to carry child for your best friend or something, or ask to donate genetic material if you think, he's fetching or something. In real life, I personally favor adoption or even foster care, because you're giving a real child a home versus making one out of thin air. But I respect the desire, of course, to have your own flesh and blood. Heck, even I sort of want a biological child. But in The Sims, I feel just the opposite. I would actually favor the surrogacy and alternative methods for conception, because from a gaming perspective, adoption creates a randomly generated child out of nothing. Black kid with orange hair. They are an orphan made from nothing for the purpose of being added to your family. You just created a new child from nothing and given them a sad backstory. That's all adoption in The Sims technically is. This is not a child who existed and needed a home. This is random code that was forced to come together when you asked for adoption. Basically, yeah. And you put in your specifications for the gender and the general age, but that's essentially what happened. It did not exist, and you just made a child with a sad backstory. That's all that adoption is in The Sims 3, technically. So I would actually favor alternative methods of conception, because at least then, your child's gonna look half like you, or maybe even like you and your friend. That's a lot better than looking like black kid with orange hair, just to reference again. Some random freakazoid, pretty much. I think that would add a lot of heart to the game if they were to implement it. I think it would add a lot of heart to the game if they were to implement that.